let's start. It's great to see you back publicly talking because a lot of people listen to you. First, I want to go through what you've been working on with the Giggle Academy, because that was the last thing we heard from you is like, I'm going to focus on this. So talk us through that journey.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a very fun project to work on. I actually don't spend that much time. Like, I do have 2 calls with them every week, status calls, and then I kind of talk to them a bit more about like the AI side of things, like what AI technologies to use so that we can build the content faster. I think the Giggle Academy has very good product market fit. It's very sticky. So if you give the app to a kid, they beg for it. So I think the original hypothesis is right. With the technologies we have today, it's not that hard to make an app that will stick that's educational, but also like glue the kids to the device. So now we just got to scale up more content. And we're always exploring more different ways to speed up the process. So I think right now there's about 60 lessons and about 300 storybooks. And just today, we launched 15 languages for the storybooks. So the storybook itself will be read to you in 15 different languages. And now it's with AI so much easier to add more content and more languages too. So yeah, it's a very fun project, and we are educating about 20,000 kids already. This is less than 6 months. In the last 6 months, yeah.
I mean, you've scaled businesses at lightning speeds. Now having AI, does it even scale faster for you?
Oh yeah. I think AI should be will help us to scale much faster. So now we create the storybook in one language. AI translates it to everything. And then even the storybooks is heavily AI assisted. So before you have to create the images, etc. Now we just use AI to generate. Even 3 months ago, it was quite difficult to get AI to generate the consistent characters on multiple images through different pages of the book. But that's improved in the last month or 2. And video generation is still a little bit challenging, but now the characters are much more consistent. And we want to get to a point where we can use AI to generate the specific format that we need, which is a Unity gaming engine spine format. So we want to get to that format. So then because that format saves a lot of storage. So yeah, but Giggle is a post-AI app. So it's going to be an AI native.
And where is this all going in a few years' time? What are you trying to get to?
In a few years, I think I want to teach 100 million or billion kids for free. Wow. 18 years or more, yeah.
Now, there's the 100 billion kids that you're teaching, but you're also doing something else, which is going around the world talking to countries about crypto. Talk about this, because not a lot of people realize what you're doing in the background, but you're doing a lot.
Yeah, sure. So I interact with about a dozen countries right now, top leaders in these countries. So I think we've seen a big shift in the last 6 months or so. With the US election, now the US new administration is extremely pro-crypto. And with Elon Musk wants to use blockchain for government efficiency. We've seen that in many other parts of the world, including UAE, both Abu Dhabi and Dubai. They're exploring how to use blockchain for government projects. That includes decentralized IDs. Once you have an ID, you need a wallet. Once you have a wallet, then you can do anything that you need with an ID. Land title rights, opening bank accounts, e-visas, border crossings, education diplomas, etc. So there's so many things we can do. And this is kind of a passion project for me as well. So because now, today, the blockchain is kind of single dimension on the trading, right, financials, which is great. But with this, we can expand blockchain to multiple dimensions. And with the industry getting bigger, there will still be more trades. So we still, as a shareholder of a large trading platform, I still benefit. And then also, before this, most countries are looking at how to regulate crypto. There's about a dozen countries that come to me and says, well, they have CZ here, or they know somebody who knows me. They come and talk to me, and then because I have nothing else to do, so I'm more than happy to talk to these country leaders to advise them on what are the things to watch out for in terms of adopting crypto regulations, how to make them more favorable to our industry. We want to protect consumers, but also advance innovation. Yeah.
So did the young kid from Canada think he'd be going around countries telling them about blockchain technology?
No, I think even today it's a bit surreal. So I view myself as a technology geek, and just never imagined going to different countries, talking with country leaders about things that could impact a huge number of people. So, but again, I think it's a very meaningful thing for me to do. Again, I don't charge for my time. It's all pro bono. But I think again, it's very important for our industry, and it's also important for each country's economy.
Now, here, the UAE has been extraordinarily good at adoption and seeing this. Talk through the journey here, because you came here and people are like, well, why is CZ moving to Dubai? And then it's become almost the epicenter of the industry. You can see by the crowd, and all the way across these countries, it's extraordinary what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So 4 years ago, in end of 2021, in September 2021, I came here for the first time. And based on my friend's recommendation, saying like, look, you should explore Dubai. UAE is very pro-crypto, pro-business, one of the best business environments in the world. So I took up his advice. I came here for 3 weeks. I booked a 3-week trip. So I came here, actually, when I landed, I only had one meeting lined up, which is with His Excellency Minister of AI, Al Olama. I landed on a Friday night, and Friday is not a working day. Friday, Saturday is not working days back then. Sunday is a working day. He met with me, and then he introduced everything, and then within like about a week or so, I knew this is the place to be. They are extremely pro-business, really pro-crypto. The ministers knows exactly what's going on, very smart, very sophisticated, and the speed is really fast. So we, at the time, Vera didn't exist. So we were discussing about how to regulate crypto, etc. And then at the time, we recommended setting up a new separate agency, and they actually took that advice. So like a month later, Vera was incorporated, literally just within a month. And then by November, we signed an MOU to advise them on the crypto regulatory framework for Dubai. By February next year, 2022, it was signed into law. And then by March, we got a in principle approval together with 3 or 4 other crypto exchanges. So it moves really, really fast here. And then I explore Abu Dhabi as well. So Abu Dhabi, this is like a little bit of a friendly competition. I think our friends from locally knows. But both places are extremely pro-business, extremely thoughtful. And here, UAE is an extremely safe country. So the fact that a lot of Western media kind of portray Middle East in a sort of a negative way, but this is one of the safest countries in the world, the safest city in the world. So there's actually no crime here. So you can see that if you regulate well, you can encourage business while keeping all your citizens completely safe. So this is one of the best places. So back then it was like there was probably like 5-10 crypto companies in 2021. Now there's like thousands. Yeah. So it's incredible to see this growth.
So when you go and talk to countries, are you talking more about just starting them on the Bitcoin journey? The first thing that we get all of our friends to do. Or do you open up and say, okay, this is what blockchain rails can do for a country? Because we've got in a world of AI where digital ID is going to matter, a lot of things are going to matter.
Yeah, I think the conversation today is a bit more advanced than that. There are very specific issues about how to adopt this. I'll give you a couple of examples that are typical discussion points. Many regulators still want to regulate everything locally. Yeah. They want a local custody wallet solution. They want a local order book. They want a local everything, local team, etc. But that's usually not the best way to go because setting up a secure custody solution for like billions of dollars requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of funds and requires a lot of expertise, which is very lacking today. Just setting up a global one is already difficult enough. If we have to do like 200 times, we just don't have the people, right? Like for each really cold wallet, you need to have like 15 signers. You can't find 15 signers that are not public, that are really extremely trustworthy in different parts of the world, in different geographies, and they're not incentivized by more money. They have a steady job, they're high income, they have a nice family, so you just can't find 100 times more of those 15 people, right? So, and also local order book. Again, if you divide each country with their own local order book, liquidity is gonna suck. And so when you wanna buy like $1 million, the slippage is gonna be super high. So those type of issues are very real concrete issues. Many countries have the capital control, so capital flight issues. Almost all of those countries want foreign direct investment. But the thing is, if you don't open up if people can't get money out, then the money's not going to come in, right? So a lot of those issues that are very real, very tangible issues to address.
And the two big ones that are still addressing this are China and India. Where are they in the process? Because they open, close, because they've got capital issues, capital control issues. Where do they stand right now?
I think China's adopting use Hong Kong as a sandbox kind of approach.
Yeah.
So I think Hong Kong is extremely pro-crypto now. I think they started changing about 2 years ago. They started issuing licenses. But 2 years ago, the licenses are quite restrictive. So in terms of token listings, etc. So now they're exploring ways to open that up. But Hong Kong still also have to worry about the capital control issue of China. So they cannot blatantly help Chinese mainland users move money out. And the thing is, in crypto, once you buy Bitcoin, which country does that Bitcoin belong to? There's no border, right? So whereas in traditional banks, if you have your money in your Shanghai bank account, that's in Shanghai. When you move it to Hong Kong, that's kind of out in Hong Kong. You kind of know. But if you buy crypto in Shanghai, when you move to the U.S., the crypto is in the U.S. It doesn't have that concept of a border, right? So there's some real issues to address there. But so you mentioned India. I think India I have less interactions with, to be very frank. I think based on my knowledge is pretty much based on public knowledge. I think the tax there is quite high. And to the point where it doesn't make sense to do transactions anymore. So I don't have any much interactions with the Indian governments, but I would very much to see some of those being loosened.
And what about the kind of strategic reserves idea as well? Because that's the hot topic people are seeing happening. Talk us through that and what you're hearing.
There's a few countries who are extremely advanced on that topic. I think Bhutan, I believe His Majesty King of Bhutan is actually in the city today. He's an early crypto adopter. He's a very smart guy, they have excess energy, clean energy, hydro energy. So they've been mining Bitcoin for years.
Yeah,
so they have billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin for a very small country. Now they've added Ethereum and BNB to their national reserve. So the early adopters are moving forward. Based on public information, U.S. seems to be using holding, at least no longer selling the Bitcoin. Some of the OGs like us actually kind of hope that governments will sell their Bitcoin so that other guys can buy them cheaply. But with this U.S. administration, they're very business savvy, so they understand what's valuable. So now they figure that out. With the U.S., with one of the world's largest economy holding Bitcoin now, or making a crypto reserve. Other countries are forced to do it because the later you do it, the more expensive your crypto will be. So so I think we are talking with many countries on advising them how to set up a crypto strategic reserve, and also even very simple stuff, very basic fundamental stuff like what wallet solutions to use. Do you use a professional custody solution, or do you use your own cold wallets? Do you have enough expertise to build that kind of infrastructure, etc. So for most countries, most countries' starting amount are not as big as U.S. Right? U.S. have 200,000 Bitcoins or something. For most other countries, when they hold much smaller amount, we actually just recommend them to use a professional custody solution that's multi-sig, right? So no single person can move the money. When they build up to a certain large amount, then they should move to their own cold storage solution. So there's a lot of discussions along those lines. Yeah.
Where's Europe in this whole equation?
Nowhere.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I don't see Europe in this discussion. Yeah.
No, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And because in the end, this technology enables average people to generate wealth, to be involved in a financial system, and Europe's actively blocking them out.
Yeah, I think so far the only there's an exception. Montenegro is actually quite pro-crypto.
Right.
We have an active dialogue with the prime minister there, and he's a very forward-thinking person, leader. So, but other than Montenegro, I don't have any other. It's kind of missing on the map. Yeah.
So what gets you excited when you're looking at the crypto markets these days? What innovations, what things are happening that you're like, this is really interesting?
I think the crypto industry, so there's a lot of money flowing around, but they're all chasing like short-term gains. So I would like to sort of help the funders to build real products. So I'm a builder myself. I like to see products built that a lot of people use. So I think that's the single most important metric. It's not the token price, it's not everything else. It's just building use cases for people. So this is why I'm actually spending majority of, the biggest chunk of my time today is spending on Easy Labs with funders. So talking with funders, looking at different projects, and just trying to help them. There are still many strong funders. It's just that their voice is a bit muffled right now. So I think we've got to help those funders to be more vocal, more active, and also more engaging in the community, and help them raise money, help them design proper long-term token economics, etc. So that's where I spend actually quite a lot of my time.
And when you're looking at the applications layer that you might invest in, what are you seeing that's outside of finance? Because there's a big focus on DeFi and stablecoins and all of this stuff, but there's a much broader use case here, whether it's social media at large or whatever it may be. What are you seeing people building? Are they grasping the opportunity yet?
To be honest, I think they're all very early stage. I think crypto so far has not expanded beyond trading. But this also represents an opportunity. So right now, RWA is quite new. It's growing, but it's still finance related. It's still like sort of tokenizing real world assets, etc. DeSci or decentralized social media hasn't really taken off yet. There's a number of really interesting attempts that we're looking at. But when I talked about the government solutions, I think that's another area that most likely can take off. And that's not finance related, right? So those are just pure blockchain for efficiency and for transparency. For example, land title rights. In many countries, they don't have very good systems. Even in Japan, they still use a piece of paper with a scratch-off code to verify you own that piece of land. And if you lose that piece of paper, it's actually quite difficult to replace or to get it back. So and in other parts of in Africa, there's many land you don't know who it belongs to. So and also even in countries like US, where there is fairly mature record keeping, but the record keeping is done manually, and the local municipal office keeps that record, and it's not digitized. So when you try to buy a piece of land, you don't know the history of that land. You don't have data, so then you cannot price it, and then you have low liquidity. So there's all of these issues which can be addressed, and we are actually investing in a company that's solving this problem. We recently invested in Sign, which is another project that does digital decentralized IDs, and they are building layer 2s for governments, etc. So I'm pushing them really hard. So there's a lot of interesting solutions being built.
Yeah, I think everything that can be digitized will get digitized. Yep. And we're seeing that trend, and there's so much efficiency, particularly like government level and stuff like that. One of the things that you were known for was the investment in X.
Yeah.
Now, what did you see in that? Because you don't make a big investment like that unless you see something in the future that could be related to crypto Web3.
Yeah, to be honest, X was a different type of philosophy. I think freedom of money is important. But to have freedom of money, you have to have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is kind of the bottom layer. Yeah. If you don't have that, then no other freedom kind of works. So when we invested in X, Twitter back then, it was based on that philosophy. And and then I actually didn't expect that they would turn to become XAI. So now we're a minority shareholder in a leading AI company. So fantastic.
And talking of AI, how are you thinking about how AI is going to change even this industry?
Oh yeah,
outside of just developers using AI to write faster code, but
yeah. So I think AI has a lot of use cases. Well, number one is AI, I believe, will completely revamp the user experience, how you interact with blockchain.
UX feels like it's all going to.
It's all going to change, right?
Yeah.
So I think AI has so many different applications that. Unfortunately, this industry happened before AI, so we need to change this industry to an AI-enabled industry.
Yeah.
Both in terms of apps we're building, product tools, customer support, risk management, risk monitoring, and also AI itself can use blockchain. right? So I think, as I said, tweeted before, the currency for AI is crypto. AI is not going to swipe a card, enter SMS code. That doesn't work for AI. It's going to be crypto. So, and then AI needs a lot of data to train. Today, they exhausted the public data, but there's a lot of data we don't capture today. Those data can be captured in a privacy-preserving way using blockchain. But if you give those data to a third-party company, then you can't ensure your own data sovereignty. So capturing of data, it logically should be done on the blockchain. But today, it's easier technology-wise to do it on a centralized platform. So we will hope to see that transition happen. And then today, many people, there's so many different AI agents with a token. Yeah. But the agents don't have a lot of utility, right?
It's experimentation still right now.
So what I would really want to see is like real agents that have real utility, like that can really help you, that have tokens. So today, like, there's so many platforms. You go to AI token launch platform, you click a button, you get your own AI with your own name. Takes 3 seconds, and then you have your own token. That token is useless. Well, I would say 99.99999% of those tokens are useless. There may be 1 or 2 for sentimental value, for culture value, for other things. But what we want to see is real AI agents that can do things. Like, today the big ones like, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, etc. Those are real big AIs that can do a lot of stuff. There's smaller AI than those guys that can do a lot of stuff that, video editing, image editing. And I've just seen a demo of an AI literally paying for hotel booking. But today those AI have to go through a website. Hopefully in the future that it should be an AI talking to an AI to book that, right? So I think in the future we will see a very heavily automated world. I think I was talking to a fund manager yesterday. They say of 8 billion people in the world, of the data that we generate every day, it's about 300 trillion tokens. Like token meaning not the crypto token, meaning the words for AI tokens. Today, AI is generating about 10% of that today. Wow. In the future, though, AI will generate 10 times more than we do. So when we have AI will interacting with each other. There'll be so many exchanges in the tokens, in the word tokens, or in the interactions. And then there will be more commerce. The AI will be trading with each other. They will be paying each other. They will be transacting. They will use crypto. So
yeah, I've talked a lot about this. Is people don't realize right now the agents are being essentially subsidized by VC capital in these large AI companies. Over time, agents need to get paid for compute and electricity. And it happens at lightning speed, and the only way of doing that payment is crypto payments. And then they will be building their own businesses, of which they'll build in profit margins as well. I mean, it's a strange world where we may not be the profit drivers, we may not be the economic engine, they'll come from the AI.
Absolutely, I think that day is coming. Like with AI, so far in our world, population is related to productivity. So the higher the population, the more GDP, etc. But with AI plus robotics, or plus robots, that's going to change. So whichever country has the best economy or manufacturing and AI technologies, AI plus robots plus blockchain, they don't need that many people. So the productivity equation is going to change. So it's innovation that matters. Yeah, in the future world, I think we can live a much more comfortable life with much less work, how we should be.
Yeah, I think there's this whole nexus of AI and crypto is very interesting. The other part of AI that people don't understand yet is if we're not careful, we're going to have 2 or 3 giants, and we need decentralization within that industry too. And I think blockchain plays a role in that. Have you any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So today, the big AI companies use our internet data to train their models, and that happens to be with a few large internet companies, Microsoft, Google, whoever else. But going forward, as I said before, there's a lot of data that we don't store. And now we're going to be smarter about how we store our data. So they should be stored in a permission way that we only allow access when we want to, and we should be able to monetize out of it. So your health data, you can be anonymized and then used to train different AIs. Every interaction you have, every thought you have, etc. If you want to, you should be able to digitize that, blockchain tokenize it, and then be able to monetize it. So in the future, I think And also we're seeing I think we'll give credit to the first few centralized platforms that, that have the scale to innovate. But once the industry is proven, then the decentralization will happen. Now we've seen that with DeepSeek, they open source their model, and now everyone can use that at a fraction of the cost. So I think we're going to see more and more of that coming. So I think the future is going to be quite decentralized.
Yeah, it's also interesting because crypto's the fastest moving industry most of us had ever seen until AI came along, and now it's multiplied the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's normal though. Every new industry is going to be faster than the previous one. So internet develops so much faster than traditional industries. But with blockchain now we have internet. So we can develop so much faster than internet companies. So I think Binance is probably the first, at the time, the first company to reach $1 billion in profits, from startup to $1 billion in profit. But that's because we had the internet, and then we had the blockchain. And then AI companies are now post-blockchain. So now, if they do it well, they can easily monetize. They can easily use distributed token economics, and they should be able to grow much faster.
Yeah, I think OpenAI got to 100 million users in 3 weeks or something stupid.
Yeah, a few days, yeah.
Unbelievable,
yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. So 2017, I think you started Binance?
Yep.
When you had a vision of the industry going forwards, what you were building for, how different is it today versus then? What did you get right and wrong?
I think we got a lot of things wrong. So when we first started, I think we said maybe top 10 in 3 years and maybe top 1 in 5 years. So that we got wrong. And we didn't expect the growth that we had. But the industry changes very quickly. Another example we got wrong is we didn't think stablecoin is going to be that big.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we just stablecoin should be an intermediary thing between fiat and crypto. It's like a patch. It's a band-aid solution for people who are selling crypto, holding stable value for a little bit. So I got that wrong. So there's a lot of things we got. For me, I can never predict markets. I don't predict industries. But the long term is easy to predict. Blockchain is going to be really, really important. AI is going to be really, really important. This field is going to grow. But then on a week-to-week basis, we have to pivot. We have to adjust. I didn't expect memes to be this big, right? So they're just things that you cannot expect. So, but when they become big, you have to adjust to it. So yeah.
I remember when I first interviewed you, I can't remember, 2020 or something, and I said, well, how long's your strategic plan? You said about 2 weeks, because you were just very focused on what do I need to deliver today, and what does the market need?
Yeah, I think today I can look a little bit longer, but back then I was we're just putting out fires, right? So the system, is always under stress. There's always some stress point somewhere. Some stuff's always there's always some crisis somewhere. So back then it was just more about getting through every week and continue to build and also our product development cycle is very short. Especially back then. Today is a bit longer, which is a bit frustrating. Back then it was every feature, when we talk about a feature in the morning, usually by afternoon, that feature's live. So
wow.
And that was a fantastic feeling back then. Today it takes quite a bit longer. Today we have a larger user base, and every change, if you screw up, it's going to be quite bad. Yeah.
So when you're looking out at the industry and through your investments in startups, what should people be building? What are they missing that you're just not seeing enough people working on?
So actually look at it differently. What we're short on is not ideas. The same ideas the same people have. What we lack on is strong founders that have very strong conviction. So founders who are mission-driven, founders who are money-driven. In this industry, in the crypto industry, it's quite easy to raise 10 to 50, 100, even more millions of dollars. People who are money-driven, once they come into $100 million, they sometimes they kind of think they made it, and they kind of slack. They kind of just the drive is they kind of lose it. Whereas people who are mission-driven, they will continue to go. And also people who are mission-driven, when there's some adversity, they plow through. So what we lack, from our perspective, what we lack the most is strong founders in the space. I think we have a lot of strong founders, but we need more. We need way more. We need 10x more. So that's where the shortage is. So strong founders with conviction, with the ability to execute, and yeah, if you have all three, there's so much money to be made. I mean, you don't have to think about making money. The money will just come. Yeah.
And it's not, we probably don't need more infrastructure layer stuff. We need the applications layer. I mean, you guys have got, what, 260 million users and growing stupid fast, but that's still all money. Apart from stablecoins, yes, but it's still all the money system. But there's so many things that can scale to 1 billion users.
Yeah, I think, well, again, I think sooner or later there's going to be some app that will scale, right?
Yeah.
So sooner or later there'll be another app that might be like blockchain, AI, some combination of it that would just like, that would just grow like wildfire. They will get like, 100 million users in a few days. I think those things will come because now we have the infrastructure to support it, both on the tech side, cloud, AI, everything's scalable. So today the successes will be like phenomenal successes that people don't even expect. So, but again, I cannot predict where those are. I believe any idea that we have today can become that. It's just all execution. If you can execute well, those things are very, very possible.
So there's a lot of new people in the space, as there is every cycle. They want to hear your advice. For them, how to deal with this space. It's hard for people. They're not used to it. So let's give CC's advice and coming into the industry from new, what to do, what not to do.
Sure. I think the fundamental thing is like there's no magic bullet. There's no magic formula. Stick with fundamentals. Don't get too excited. When people say, look, this project's really hard. If you don't buy it this minute, then you're gonna miss it. Don't go for that. Just stick with fundamentals. What happens in investing in traditional markets is the same thing that happens here. You should look at fundamentals. You should look at projects. You should play with the product. You should believe it. You should understand it, and then don't follow advices just because. Or don't buy just because you saw somebody tweet about it something on Twitter, right? So don't just follow blindly. Don't invest in a large number of tokens or coins. Play with 3 or 5 that you can understand deeply so that you know if they're good or not. If you don't understand, don't invest. And then for the builders, again, fundamentals, right? So don't try to raise a big amount. That's not the benchmark. The benchmark is 5 years from now. How many users do you have? What's your valuation 5 years from now? So look at product market fit, build prototypes, test it. If it doesn't work, pivot. If it works, then scale. Right. So just know there's nothing magical. Everybody comes into crypto thinking that the crypto somehow is different. It's not.
It's a bit more volatile.
Yeah. So like you see very often, right? Many people who are not traditional stock traders, they come to crypto, they become active traders. Doesn't work. Crypto is no different from if you do day trading, it's the same everywhere. It's just different asset type. There's some guys who are like, entrepreneurs in traditional internet, well, not traditional, just internet tech fields. They come into crypto, somehow they want to do it, they want to do something very different. There's nothing different. Crypto does help you raise money more easily. It's a very effective fundraising tool, but still the fundamentals apply. You got to have product market fit. You got to have a strong product that people use. So all of those things still apply. So there's nothing too magical about this magic internet money kind of industry. There's nothing magical about it. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of basics, a lot of fundamentals.
Do you think capital formation will grow? We saw ICOs back in 2017, right? Now, it was experimentation. It was the Wild West, but it was experimentation, like memes are now. Do you think we're going to come back to more of that kind of capital formation via some sort of format of ICOs?
I think so. But I think there's always going to be a combination. So we've seen the evolution, right? So say 70, 80 years ago, if you want to start a business, you can only get a loan from a bank. And it's very hard to get fundraising, right? So then 30-something years ago, VCs started to appear. And it makes sense for internet businesses because they got to burn through a lot of money before they have a revenue model. And that kind of worked for internet. And then now we come to ICOs. ICOs are so much easier to raise money, right? That's 2017. But for ICOs, you actually still have to have a website and have a white paper, at least. But that's super easy compared to traditional VC fundraising. And then now, and then we went through sort of the NFT craze, etc. But now you just need one image, say one meme, and then and then you go to a pump platform, and then off you go. So the fundraising has become so much easier, which is kind of it's a bit too easy now. So I think, but I think there are still many there's still many strong founders who are using the solid approaches, white paper, product, and TGE much later after the product have product market fit. I think we still see a lot of strong projects in those categories. I think long term, those projects will win.
And what do you think is going to have higher returns? VC in the space or liquid tokens? Because it's actually very hard for anybody to build a business and beat Bitcoin's returns. It's phenomenally hard to do.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
Yeah, so it's very hard to outrun Bitcoin. I think there's only a few projects that have kind of outrun Bitcoin for a period of time. I mean, in the industry, if you're in industry for any period of time, you say, look, instead of investing in crypto projects, just buy Bitcoin and hold. Much less work. But even as a crypto OGs like myself, I invest in many new projects. We have to do that to grow the industry. And there are projects that have outright...
You'd probably be richer if you hadn't.
Actually, no. I think BNB have outrun Bitcoin so far in its existence.
Yeah.
Ethereum probably has as well.
Yeah.
Even though I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Ethereum.
Even Doge has.
Even Doge has, which is crazy, right? So there are a few projects that outperform Bitcoin, but those are a small number. But I do think that they all continue to be new projects that will outperform Bitcoin. But they're very small in number. And also, they start at a much smaller market cap. Right, so it's easy to, if you look at the multiples, yeah, they can go higher. But if they reach to the size of the Bitcoin today, they will slow down too. It's much harder to grow a large market cap than a small one. So it depends on your risk appetite, risk profile, on what you want to invest in. But I do think there are still many good opportunities. But it's true that if you want the least amount of work with very good returns, just buy the top few tokens. You're in good shape.
And you'll be fine. So in our last few minutes, where are we in the current market cycle? How are you thinking about this? How should people be thinking about it?
I'm always bullish.
Me too.
So if you ask me, at the deepest winter in 2019, I'm bullish. 2022, 2023, I was bullish. If you ask me at the peak, I'm bullish, and then the market goes down, have a correction. And, it's very hard to time the market.
Yeah.
So far, the markets go on 4-year cycles, but it's very hard to tell, if this one is going to be shorter or longer, etc. But I think if we take a long view, we're so early.
And also what we know about state-level adoption, asset management adoption. There is a lot of big players coming in, and that feels like that's a this cycle thing where people start.
Yeah, so actually on this one, I think what we've seen is that this cycle so far has been ETFs. Yeah. So US institutional money going to ETFs, and those money go to Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin ETF is the biggest. So in that regard, Ethereum didn't go up that much, right? Because the money's kind of stuck with Bitcoin. But what's good for Bitcoin is good for other crypto. Eventually, the money will disperse. When they're in an ETF, they usually take longer because the institutions, for them to go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to other altcoins, will take a bit longer. But what we've seen, and I still believe that 100%, is Bitcoin is usually the first crypto that people interact with when they come to crypto. That's the first one they learn. That's the most stable. That's the most decentralized, etc. And that's the biggest market cap. But once the money is in crypto, they will eventually explore other things, right? So it will come. So I think we're still quite early. I think we're still in. If we go by 4-year cycles, should be end of this year. Right. But we don't know for sure.
And do you think because of where we are in the network adoption, that growth has slowed down yet in Bitcoin, or do you think we're actually early? Because there's an argument or discussion going on where we are on the adoption curve and our returns coming down. I don't think they are, but what do you think?
I don't think they are. I think we're just getting started. So I think right now there's a handful of countries that's talking to me about blockchain adoption. And most other countries, I don't see anything going on. Out of 200 countries, even there's 12 countries that are just starting, right? So US is just starting. ETFs is only like the last, a few months, right? So everything's just starting. I think people, when they invest, they're very impatient, right? So of course, when I invest, I want to see my money 10x tomorrow. Why not, right? But the market doesn't work like that. So I think if you want to chase if you're chasing things that are against how this world works, you're going to be always disappointed. Right? So basically, you're chasing something that doesn't make sense. And if you chase too hard, then it's gonna backfire. You're gonna lose money. But I think in this world, we got to understand how the world works. Money takes time to build, and what's good for Bitcoin is good for crypto, and it will filter to other things. So and it will take time. As long as we understand the right time horizons, then you can set your expectations correctly, and then everything will make sense.
So your overall summary is just hold on, be patient,
pretty much.
Don't mess it up, and if you can, build something important and do it with a mission.
Pretty much, yeah.
And use AI while you're doing it.
Yes.
Perfect. There we go. CZ, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.